Hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a look at another one of the new melee mods, and this time it's going to be Guardian Derision, and I'm extremely excited about this one, because up until now we haven't had a proper taunt mechanic in Warframe. Yes, we've had abilities that increase your aggro generation or make you a bigger threat, like Nyx's Chaos, so the enemies are more likely to attack you, but we never had a proper taunt where you use a mod or you use an ability or you do something which forces the enemies to attack you rather than making you more likely to be attacked by them. This, however, changed with the Guardian Derision mod, because if you put this on your melee weapon and you block with your melee weapon, it will taunt every single enemy in a 15-meter radius. And when I first saw this mod, two things popped into my mind. Number one, Vapor Sidon, because you can now taunt the enemies so they will attack you and they will charge the special mechanic, which then releases a blind, so you have loads of crowd control. That's pretty good. But more importantly, number two, my Overprotective Trinity setup. Now, this is a setup that uses the Hellmanz with the electromagnetic shielding and combines it with Trinity that's built for sort of a combination of Link and Blessing. Now, I did tweak the Trinity build a little bit. I removed a little bit of power strength because it wasn't really necessary, and therefore I gained a little bit of power duration for Link and Blessing. I'm still using Energy Siphon as my aura here because this setup is very power hungry, and since you have a lot of power duration, Energy Vampire isn't as effective as it is on something like an EV build, especially if your allies aren't targeting the Energy Vampire target. Then I'm using Prime Continuity combined with Constitution for some power duration to increase the duration of Link and Blessing. I'm also using Vampire Leech, even though this build has a lot of duration, because while you're running around and you're putting up Blessing and you're using Link and you're just taunting everything you can and pulling it off to a corner so your allies don't have to deal with it, you might as well just provide everyone with overshields. At the end of the day, this is what this build is about. It's about protecting your party. Then I'm using Vitality and Redirection to give me more survivability, and you might be thinking, well, why though? You have one hander and a shield, which gives you loads of damage reduction when you're blocking with it. You're using a Link on top of that, and you have Blessing on top of that. Well, you see, when you're playing this build correctly in something like a Kuva Flood, this is what your screen will look like. It will be covered in Kuva Guardians and Eximus units and things that will kill you before you can recast Link, because Link has a little bit of a cast time, so you can't have it up 100% of the time. And even though you are mitigating the majority of the damage you and your allies take, you are not mitigating all of it. So if you're too squishy, you're just gonna die. Then I'm using Streamline for a little bit of power efficiency, and I would love to have fleeting expertise here, but I don't want to lose any power duration, because right now this is a very active build, because you are running around trying to taunt everything, and you try to stay close to your allies as well, so you take advantage of electromagnetic shielding. Every sort of 18-ish seconds you have to recast Link, every 20 seconds you have to recast Blessing, and in the meantime you have to use Energy Vampire, so you have energy to do all of these things. And I feel like if I were to remove more power duration, this would just become an utter cluster truck and you wouldn't be able to keep it together and do everything at the same time. Then I'm using Stretch and Cunning Drift to give me more power range for Link and Energy Vampire, and finally Intensify to give me slightly stronger Blessing and to restore more energy with Energy Vampire since it doesn't tick that often. And on the Hellmanz, the only two mods you need are Electromagnetic Shielding and the new Guardian Derision mod. It doesn't really matter what you put in the other slots because you are using it to tank damage rather than deal damage. Now, I wanted to test this build, so what I did is I took two of my clanmates into the mod Survival in the Void, and I told them to bring squishy frames and not use any crowd control or defensive mods because I wanted to see if I could keep them alive. So one of them brought a Limbo and the other one brought Zephyr, and no, the Limbo did not just go into the rift. I just told them to stand near me and shoot at things. And that's all they were doing. And as you can see, they took hardly any damage. They were absolutely fine, even though they were running frames that would pretty much get one-shot by these enemies. Now, after we finished this survival, I thought we could step it up a little bit. So we've added Speed Nova and went to a Kuva Flood. It was a Corpus Kuva Flood, and Kuva Floods are level 80 to 100. Now, the first time around, it was an utter and complete disaster. We survived for a little bit, but as soon as I ran out of energy, we were dead. We just died in like 5 seconds of each other. Now, the reason we failed the first time around was because you cannot EV the Kuva Guardians unless they have the sigil on them and they are vulnerable. And since they are so fat and they take up such a large portion of your screen, sometimes getting off Energy Vampire is really difficult, so I just ran out of energy and we died. But once I realized that that was the issue and I had to focus more on my Energy Vampire so I actually have energy to protect my team, We finished the siphon. Yes, a couple of people went down, but that's to be expected when you're running a mission that's level 80 to 100. You have 2 squishy frames and speed nova. And all of this was possible thanks to the Guardian Derision mod, because I was blocking all the time, so I took all the aggro and therefore took all the single target damage. If I tried to do this without the Guardian Derision mods, the enemies would simply not give a damn about me and big slap my teammates at every opportunity they got. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on this puppy, it's actually not that hard to get. It's a rare drop from the Corpus Prot crewmen, which show up in every single Corpus mission. So just run Corpus missions and you will eventually get it. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.